Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I am committed to doing the Zoom today, but I just want to give you guys a warning. I have like a rash everywhere. Like, I don't know if it's from the spray paint that I was using under the direct sunlight for like 2 days straight, and I'm just an allergic kind of person. My skin is very reactive. So I'm going to try my best not to get distracted by the constant desire to rip my skin off. But just bear with me in case this is not my most flawless. I think that's going to be okay for the content for today. So I want to just I have a whole bunch of hacks written down here. I have a direction for how I want today's lesson to go, but I more so wanted this to be an opportunity for you guys to be inspired to pick my brain, right? Like, so if there's something you hear that incites another question, I want you to ask it. If someone else asks something that brings it up, ask in the chat, okay? For the sake of recording, I'm going to do my best to reread everything that you guys say. And I'll try to get through absolutely everything. Okay. If I can't get to your question or hack or whatever by the end, I just ask that you copy and paste whatever you're writing to me somewhere else, or like jot it down so that you can ask me in private and I can still answer that for you. Okay. Because I don't want it to go unanswered. Or if you want, you can even comment it on the recording, and this way I can answer it for everyone else to see. It's up to you. But if I don't get to you, that does not mean dead end. Okay. All right. Let me get the chat open. Thank you, Becca. And by the way, we're announcing the winners for people who did the Come Alive challenge. One, we're going to have another challenge in the summer. It's going to be based on OCD, ADHD, and just general brain hacks, like even if you don't have either of those two. And we're never going to call it a challenge ever again, because someone brought up to my attention and I was like, that makes so much sense. They were like, I didn't realize that that was more so just more support for the Zooms we're watching and the stuff we're doing already. They're like, I feel what I'm doing in CCA is already a challenge. Tell me if you guys relate, where it's like, I don't need to, or I don't think I can take on an additional challenge if I'm already feeling pretty challenged right now. But those of you who did the Come Alive challenge can probably attest to the fact that it's just extra support. It was just basically a group chat centered around these Zooms each week with a little bit of like a reflective homework kind of thing that matched the lessons, and then a little goodie that we gave you, like some kind of ebook or value add, like a little flyer, just different stuff each week. I had fun. We used it as a way to learn how we want to run these things going forward, and they will never be called challenges again. But if you're interested in getting in for the brain camp one that's coming up in the summer, just make sure you let me or your coach know about it. Okay, so those winners, we're all trying to make sure that we're checking everything, all the submissions from you guys and stuff. So if you entered for that contest, we're going to announce it tomorrow. We didn't want to rush it. Okay, so thank you for bearing with us. We're really excited to announce that. So let's get into these hacks. Okay, we're going to start with exercise first. Okay, now those of you who have been in CCA for a while, you might feel like we don't really focus on exercise all that much. Shit. That's true. And the reason is I don't really exercise much, right? But it's also, there's a lot of hormonal factors there. And in KGG, some of you guys are now exploring more like activity-based baby steps. But I feel like it's such a personal thing, being physically active, and it can quickly become just as much a punishment, a reward, something we pin our hopes to, like eating, like food. Do you guys agree? It feels like, exercise is supposed to be something great. And some of you guys might absolutely love the exercise you do. That's great. But generally, it's like another tool of what we're not doing well enough at, like how to beat ourselves up. Like we're just those lazy slobs, it's like exercise is a very emotional thing. And it's not just like you're either lazy or you're active. There's a whole spectrum to that. You don't have to like love exercise to still want your body to be agile and to feel movement. And for those of us who are physically affected, it's also something you don't want to take for granted. So let's see what you guys are saying. I have to run and I swell up like a puffer fish sometimes. I don't get it. There's a lot of, okay, so it's all explainable. It's a disappointment that comes with not being consistent. We're going to get through that today too. Gym nerd for life. It's everything else that's a struggle. I feel like at this point, I'm too embarrassed to exercise because of my face problems. I get super red and hot, asthma. Yes. Okay. Everything I'm seeing here has one common theme. It's that it's the same thing as food. It's a box we try to fit ourselves into. It's something we're not doing well enough. It's something that we're not consistent enough at. We get, we look red and flushed and puffy and blah, 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 but it really, none of that is kind of just rooted in preference, and it doesn't even have to be that we have to work out a certain way. I always use I'm very proud of my Greek heritage, right? So I always use my beloved country as a reference in the fact that you think some 100-year-old guy living up in the hills of Greece, do you think that they got to check what my heart rate's at, got to make sure I stay in my fat burning zone for X amount of time, and no, there doesn't have to be a regimen. It can be completely inconsistent. You could be newly active every single day in a different way. Guess what? Still counts. Same thing as if you eat a meal or you decide to pick at a bunch of random things. That's just what we perceive it to be. The body views it as food. So it really has to have no other standards besides that. So that, to sum up some of what I was seeing here, and the reason, Becca, I have to run and I swell up like a puffer fish sometimes. If you can explain what you mean by I have to run. Oh wait, I remember, for your literal job, you have to run, right? So, and you swell up like a puffer fish. So when that happens, that's a sign of extreme inflammation, which we're working on. But some things you want to definitely make sure of. Did you sleep enough the night prior? Not always in our control, but it should be a priority. How much water did you get? Like, how hydrated are you? I know I, as someone who doesn't naturally drink a lot, heard this my whole life. And you may be totally hydrated, but those of you who are like, I know, I need to drink more water, that was me my whole life. So I don't mean any judgment. It's not easy. You want to make sure that any additional stress that you can, cut out, you do, and any that you can't, you manage. So text me. But all of those things that we're doing, the baby steps, everything will make it so that you have more physical stamina as your inflammation comes down. When you push your body to go, and we're working on getting you to a place of kind of, you're with your baby steps. I don't want to use you as an example on this, answering this question, but specifically the baby steps that we're working on are going to help with that, because it's not going to push your body to the brink of crisis or emergency when you run. Same thing with the facial flushing and the heat, asthma. I mean, asthma too, obviously it's chronic, so there's that, but there are ways to mitigate it. And also that will become easier when you help with your inflammation, when you're not in an active inflammatory state. So it'll just end up making your threshold increase, but maybe it's the type of exercise, Abby, when you referenced getting very hot and having your asthma triggered. There are different ways to adapt to fit. If your body reacts to a certain food, we adjust and we eat different food. So if our bodies are reacting to a certain kind of physical exercise, we can always adapt. It's just not resenting the need to adapt. That's the hard part. So let me see what else you guys said. Breakouts. Yep. That's so annoying. Sweat. The more you sweat. I know it's not the most, here's a hack, skincare hack. I know it's not the most affordable thing in the world, which I wish that was different. I am not a very frou-frou person in terms of product. In case that's a surprise to anybody, I am pretty low maintenance, with the exception of stopping my illness from aging me prematurely. So I don't wear makeup. I have not washed my face probably 3 years. Obviously it gets wet in the shower and stuff, but I have not taken soap to my face in years. And it I will always have sensitive skin, but when I tell you that this Averaglow, I've preached its benefits in probably 3 different Zooms by now. I've been using it religiously for years. The owner has PCOS. We've talked at length about how she developed it. I've talked to her about, in addition to all the stuff I do with you guys, it was really using Averaglow that kind of like made my skin clear up. So workouts from Breaking Out, what I love about it is that the step 1 product is like a spray. That's what you like wet your face with, and then you use the oil on a cotton pad and like buff it around. But the spray is actually like an antibacterial. So at the very least, and if you need this information, text me about it. But at the very least, if you get the antibacterial spray, it's like a made for your face. Like it's not chemical based, you know, it's like all natural. I don't get anything telling you guys to buy this, by the way. So it's why I sound absolutely terrible explaining it. I swear by it. After you work out, spritz that shit around, and it really helps, like until you can get to the point where you can wash your face however it is that you do. And it helps with the sweat bacteria that'll just naturally happen. It was cool. She explained it to me that like I knew it to some degree, which is why we get that deep cystic kind of acne as well. Like it has to do with our hormones. But what I didn't realize is that our hormones being off actually make the bacterial barrier on our faces a lot weaker. So we all have bacteria. If you've ever wondered, let's be like, my husband could wash his face with the same bar of soap he washes his ass with, and he would still have the most perfect skin in the world, you know. But certain hormones can make you more susceptible to having a very sensitive bacterial barrier. So any of the normal bacteria that just happens to get on our face every day can actually just like really be worse for us. Then you factor in any picking, which took forever for me to stop doing. I'm actually very obsessive about not touching my face, which helps. But all of that with the low bacterial barrier, and it just kind of reinfects itself. So Averaglow, Averra, Glow, Glow, I absolutely love it. I've had like OCD intrusive thoughts about their factories closing down and me not being able to get any, and I need to find out what's in it. So that's how much the love goes. So highly recommend. Exercising really affects me. I feel so fatigued. Inflammation, that means inflammation needs to come down for sure. I used to get in my head about what needed to happen. Oh, well, working out, you like, whoo, I'm burning calories. Look, I'm using muscles. Muscles being used, same shit. The body's not like, it's Orange Theory or nothing, hun. Like, you know, it ends up making me so uncomfortable, and I spend longer trying to cool down and get my breathing normal than I did exercising. We got to spice up your life in that exercise department. That is not the one for you. I always played sports growing up, and I never knew why I wasn't good at it and how I was never in shape, even though I did it for 12 years. Now I know my cortisol, it sounds like something I would say, is why I'm laughing. Now I know why my cortisol was going crazy, and it wasn't normal to need to lay on the floor after. Yeah, your body was like pushed to the brink, you know, and you get to a point where everything kind of catches up with that. I see it all the time. I have a ton of clients who were competitive athletes all throughout their life. And it just, they hit a wall at some point. Like I kept getting caught up in a workout plan instead of just focusing on being active. The planning took so much energy that I felt overwhelmed. Yes. Can any of my ADHD hyperfixation or my OCD hyperfixation people in here, have you ever, and anyone else, by the way, but I used to come up with these intricate ass, like, okay, I'm going to look up, like it'd be like 2 a.m. And instead of thinking that maybe I need to get my ass to bed and not be up drinking Diet Coke at like 2 a.m., like I'm up looking at like workout plans. And I'm like, let me look at this muscle group. I'm going to work out these. Cause like, I just had these absurd routines that I would hyper focus, get down on note cards and completely disregard it the next day. Like I would forget to go to the gym, but I'd have all the plans. Or sometimes I'd get to the gym and then being so anxious about like getting started and doing it, like remembering all what I had to do, I would just like blank out and get frustrated and have the worst workout ever. Like I would mostly just walk around and then sit defeated in a dark yoga room in the gym. Oh, fun times. Why do we not like to work out? I don't know. So I found this YouTube Lucy Wyndham Reed. That sounds good. Have 10-minute indoor walking and low intensity workouts. that are 20 minutes or less. Sometimes it helps. Every little bit helps. Truly, my philosophy with exercise is like my philosophy with food. And some of you don't know my philosophy with food yet, but those of you who do know, whatever works. I don't know, it doesn't matter. You know, whatever works, whatever you like to do. If you're still getting activity and it's fun, you're going to do it more. You're going to do like it's just going to become more consistent and it still counts. So just because it's not some regimented, like I'm at Zumba every morning at 6 a.m., like it doesn't have to be. That's just like wanting to be on a very strict diet. You don't have to be. You know, it's all about concepts. So I can't stop scratching myself. One of my favorite products I've learned from you. Oh, Veriglow. Oh my God, it's so good. Honestly, that's a big hack for honestly any of my disabled clients. Like you're able, I really got into it because it hurt me standing at the sink. Like it hurt me bending over like the bathroom sink. You know, at that point, my spine and my rib cage were still all types of messed up. And my hands, like being able to like hold my hands apart and be able to take care of my face, like it honestly hurt. So I love the idea that I could do this in bed. And it's like, you got to do at night and the morning, the skin routine. So you literally could do it while you're in bed. It's all with a cotton pad and that's it. And then it was an extra bonus that made my skin amazing. I'm like, this is great. So love it. When I used to go to the gym, I could be literally gargling my heart zone, gargling my heart and never be in the optimal heart rate zone. The image was there and the words weren't happening, but it's so annoying. Or like I would blow right past my optimal heart zone. And it was like the minute I took a step, I'd be like, maybe what the, I'd be holding the bars and it was like, you know, flashing, like you got to relax. I didn't know I had a heart issue, but that's besides the point. You know, it's annoying. Guidelines aren't for everybody. I was having this conversation with somebody today because I was talking about the business coaching thing that I'm doing, and I'm trying to have it be similar to CCA in that, yes, like there are diet and exercise programs, and they're arguably easier to scale and grow them bigger because it's not as individualized. You know what I mean? Like there are just easier metrics. The coaches have a set guide, like, but we, if you've had calls with us, are very nitty gritty, which I love. So I'm trying to now kind of put that to play here. Oh crap, where was this? Oh, and I was talking to them about this. Oh, and we're just saying like, it's the same thing with exercise, you know, like it's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with business, right? Like it all has to fit. And if you are somebody you're trying to follow, like, okay, I have to get my heart rate up to this level. I have to get to this amount, blah, blah, blah. I have to do this for X amount of time. And it doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean that you are like, you know, kafucked because you just didn't work for you. It doesn't. Think about this. How many other people does it not work for that feel just, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? Deficit. That's not the word. It's going to bother me, but it'll come to me in the middle of another sentence, not to worry. If I made a plan and didn't stick to it and work out exactly as planned, then I gave up completely. Yep. The hyper focus is real. And it's all, here's the dangerous part. And is it called orthorexia? It's the obsession with health. It's disordered. And you see that all the time. It's like using health as a disorder, whether it's an eating disorder, an activity disorder, whatever the case may be. So we all get wrapped up in this. This is healthy. This is healthy, but it's still punishment based. It's still reward based. It still holds a power that it need not hold when our body just wants us to move. I have a Pinterest board that was made at 3 a.m. with easy exercises that I have never done. If that ain't the most relatable thing. Oh my God, if my Pinterest boards were reality, I'd be living this like remarkable lifestyle, right? All from 3 a.m. pins. Zumba, dance, fitness is fun, or Peloton bike or hiking. Yeah, have fun. And then when you hit that threshold, or if if you need to modify it for you, don't feel bad doing so. think about it this way. Like if you like, I had a good analogy and then I had to focus on not scratching my leg. I'm really sorry. Hopefully that one comes back in the middle of another sentence. Can't wait to take a Benadryl. So I just bought a weighted hula hoop. Oh, so fun. While I'm in my office studying for the bar exam or watching lecture videos. Yeah, I love it. And anyone who is afraid to do a weighted hula hoop, it is actually easier that it's weighted. I know that that seems like it's going to be more intense, but it's not. The fact that it's weighted means that it slowly rotates rather than an airless, like a weightless hula hoop that just constantly, that means your hips got to match that speed. It's difficult if it's light. It's actually easier because you can move slower to keep the hoop up. And when you go to pick it up off the ground, you get a little bit of, an extra little something. I love it. It's so fun. And you don't even realize you're doing it after a while, Now I'm like, yeah, one more minute. So great. And I got a janky spine, by the way. You just want to adjust how you move it, and you can use your shoulders, you can use your hips, but it's not for everybody, disclaimer, but I love it. Is a weighted hula hoop good for people who have bad hips? Probably if you learn to keep it like up here and you really rely on like your waist. I just realized I'm snookying it, like, wow, look at that little poof. But yeah, if you just kind of stick to your waist up here, you can give it a shot and see. I think we have such an intimate relationship with our bodies usually, and with chronic pain, that I think you'll know in one rotation if it's something to build up too slowly or if it's something that would hurt more than help. And I'm sure, honestly, if any of you guys try it and like it doesn't work out, if you were to put it up in the page, I got to assume somebody else would probably want to buy it off of you. So, because I get asked all the time, like, which one should I buy? I'll post the one that I recommend that I love in the comments. Lane, if you wouldn't mind posting the one you got too, that would be awesome. They even have the one that has like the permanent belt attached. That might be better for you, Abby, because it might not be as much of a hit to the hips. They have the one that's attached to the belt where it's like a little ball. It's like, I feel like it's a cat toy, but you like attach it on like a belt and you just move your hips to like move the ball around the track instead. So there's nothing that falls. And there's no like weight kind of, that's the part that would concern me, is if it's like hitting your chest, your hips as it's rotating. I've never been able to do it and I'm doing it. So 5-year-old me would think I'm very cool. Hell yeah. Listen, a lot of you guys who are in CCA and now KGG found me through that Women's Health article where I was talking about my hula hooping. So if that was you got to try. Wait, you got to get a weighted hula hoop. If you're here because of that article, I am challenging you. Hula hoop. Okay. I think I just saw that one on BuzzFeed. Yeah, they're great. Okay. So now for me to give you guys some hacks. So swimming, if you have access to a pool. Now, I know so many of you probably just cringed at the thought of a bathing suit. Well, get the frumpiest bathing suit you can find and get access to an indoor pool where the only people who are going to be chilling in there are people who are working out, people who are old, people who are babies with instructors. Nobody who's really going to be there trying to pick you up. It might be daunting at a town pool. I can give you that, but if you can get access to an indoor pool or your own, or no one else will be, swimming is great because of the sensory aspect to it. One, the low resistance. So for those of you who have issues with pain, it's really, it's the gold standard. Two, it's the sensory, the amount of nerve endings it's hitting at all times. The amount, the buoyancy that you can experience, all of that is also extremely good for stress management. So when you're swimming, do you mean laps? No, I mean just resistance in the water. Like you could go and you could just bobble around and try to keep yourself afloat. You could backstroke a little bit. You just spend time in the pool. My approach to exercise is the same as food. If it fits the parameters of what we're talking about, right? It goes, however it works, however it's enjoyable. That is what makes it stick. So if you want to go for laps and that's your jam, lap it up. But if you want to just kind of doggy paddle around and then float, that's cool too. Your body is still in motion. It's so relaxing. Like it really, really is. It is so relaxing just floating around. Also, you know, any kind of, you can do like movements under the water, and your body is facing resistance every time it's doing that. It's low impact, but high resistance. So that's what makes it such an efficient workout. It's great for insulin management. Fun fact, I always love using my type 1 diabetes as like a, hey, this is what like pancreases that don't work do, because it gives us insight, right? So I take X amount of synthetic insulin. I don't have any kind of mechanism to regulate if that's the correct amount or not, like people who have functioning pancreases that make insulin. So bear with me here. Now, when I was little, I could not go swimming for not 5 minutes without running a terrible low blood sugar. You know, now that I'm older, I know how to regulate for that, and I can adjust my insulin pump for that and all that stuff. But my point is, the reason that that happened was because my body was burning up all of my glucose stores, all of it. It was such an intense workout without realizing it, that I had too much insulin in my system for what was actually there. I'm not trying to be diet culture-y, but like that's kind of what we're all going for, right? So then swimming is so much more rigorous on the body, you know, and there are lots of studies that show just in general, when you're building muscle, then you're going to increase your insulin sensitivity. Swimming increases muscle with low impact, so before you even feel it. Next up, the gold standard of everybody's, you know, health and wellness suggestion, yoga. Here's my thing with yoga. It should be something you enjoy. If you give it the old college try and you still can't stand yoga after 3 sessions, do not force yourself to keep doing yoga. 1, because you're just not, you're probably going to dread it and put it off. 2, you're going to be stressed. And 3, you're probably going to hurt yourself because you're going to be annoyed. You might have bad form, and I don't want you to hurt yourself. So if you do like yoga, rock on with that. Create a practice, create a routine. Go do it outside in the morning. I double dog dare you, because there is something to be said. Here's another hack about energy when your brain gets sunlight first thing. So seeking sunlight is a big thing amongst all like the personal growth people out there, but there is a lot of kind of science-based fact to that, because our brain, our sleep-wake cycle is regulated by light and dark, and natural light sources are the best kind of light sources. So if you do love yoga, go set up a mat out in your patio in the back. Get a privacy screen if you feel weird. They're so cheap on Marketplace. You can get like one of those room divider screens and literally set yourself up so that like no one really sees you, and go do like a morning, like a 5-minute morning, whatever the hell they're called, you know? Yoga's not my thing, in case that's surprising to anybody. I did like hot yoga until I had to like replace a part of my neck with silicone, and now there's just no yoga for me anymore, but that's okay. It's not missed. Rowing, but not like the Orange Theory, like I am like convulsing and not able to breathe when I'm standing up off of this thing. There really is no need for that at all. But rowing with the mechanism of tightening your back, like strengthening your back muscles, is going to help a lot. It's going to help a lot with your posture. It's going to help a lot with your overall like breathing. Orange Theory gives me anxiety is what I saw real quick. And I agree. I watched one of those classes from outside the window and I was like, is everyone okay? But anyway, it's really good for strengthening your upper back, keeps your toddies up here. It helps you with, you know, your breathing. Like I think I said that before, but the way your chest expands can help with that as well. And it always helps. So, because if your back muscles are weak, that's when you can run into shoulder problems. That's when you can run into like just overall posture problems. And then that's just a slippery slope, you know, shit you think of when you turn 30, I guess. So before everyone kills me for being a baby, still, I don't. Anyone who's in around that age, like 30 to 32, does it feel like it was a quick, sharp right into you're not in your 20s anymore? Like, it's a good thing. I'm enjoying my 30s way more, like already, truly. And I didn't think that would be the case, but it was a quick progression. I don't know if anyone's watching live in that age range, like 28 to 32, where it's like, boom, 20's done, out. I guess anyone who's over that age can attest to that, but it just feels so weird. Anyway, I told you we were gonna have a little mixed bag today. Hiking. Hiking's great. Again, no like "Ugh, get to the top of the mountain, like no extreme shit here. There doesn't need to be. And not only that, if you like that, I don't mean to insult you, but it's not great for hormones. So maybe let's find a comparison. I mean, compromise. So walking uphill with weights. What are they called? They're like the Bala bands or something now, or something. Bala bangles, I think they are, where they like look like cute bracelets, like cups. But they make ones that are not $1 million just because they're cute as well. Regardless, you could be holding like 2 gallons of water or whatever. That would look weird, but put some kind of weight on you and then go walk up a hill. That amount of resistance, and you can go as slow as you need to. If that's your thing, if a real deep challenge is your shtick, go for it. It sounds like dread to me, like it feels like something completely dreadful, but it is great for working the most important muscle group for hormone management, your leg muscles. Your lower body traps a ton of excess hormones, and then our largest muscle groups are in our legs. So who here has noticed that even if you feel like your upper body has a lot of excess fat to it, you feel like your lower body is built for battle? Like boots will not zip. And it's not because of anything that's soft and flabby. It's like tree trunks. My legs, like my lower legs especially, have always been like that, where I'm like, what is this? Yeah, that's because we trap a lot of excess muscles, predominantly androgens, in our lower muscle groups because they're our largest. So what helps with that is working those muscle groups. Again, not to the point of extreme, okay? Let me catch up on some of these. Pilates is great, Shania. Shania asked, has anyone here tried yoga or Pilates? I like it because I feel like it's a good combination of like the relaxing movements. I like that I'm like laying down for most of them, and it really I don't know, I like that you have to think a lot about ab contractions and movements, and it's about more precision movement versus a lot of movement, which has never been my thing. So I've done a Pilates machine and I wish I could do it, but it hurt my lower back because the board was so hard. Then laying down in motion made my face worse, which is probably just a me problem. No, that's common for POTS. So, which a bunch of us here can attest to. I have horrible balance, but yoga is good, just not the super complicated stuff. There's an app called Down Dog, which is great. It's a very simple app, and you can actually just put in how many minutes you want to be doing, what style, what level, what if you want to do beginner, advanced, whatever. And then it will generate a little routine for you, and then have this little cartoon demonstrate it for you and walk you through that routine. They have all different types. It's called Down Dog. I really like yoga. I have a wrist condition that makes it difficult to do though. Download Down Dog and look into their chair yoga. I found that really interesting, and see, maybe that'll help. They were trying to make me do handstands. I was like, no, my uncoordinated ass. I have never been that child doing somersaults in the field. That has never been me. So I get it. I'm not like that. No headstands for me. The lights alone. Oh, and Orange Theory. It's what is happening? It's like a rave and also hell, and also I'm we're all on this Viking mission and we gotta go. What is happening? Why am I paying for this? Orange Theory gives me such agita. I agree. So I always make fun of them. So I'm sorry if anyone is a devotee in here, because I don't mean it personally. It's just, the one I think of. My old physical therapist did training for them and was one of their models, and his stories were insane. Oh my God, text me because I want to hear them. I need to hear them. So I really do feel better after my hot girl walks. I love that. I've been trying to start my day with one to get in a better mood. Ooh, could you like map out what that is specifically? I love that. If you could, if I could be a pain in the ass and have you post it in the page or in your group chat or text it to me, just not here so that it can live beyond the Zoom. Because that sounds great. Calves, we got everybody in the calf club over here. Calves are like rock hard and I don't know why. Yep. Hormones. If I go on light walks around the neighborhood, how long do you think is a good timing for that? Enough where you start to feel like your muscles actually being, like worked. If you're at the point where like your legs are starting to kind of get a little heavier, that's when you want to turn it back around. Because here's the thing, guys, too, something you want to learn and gauge is you don't want to wait until you're at the point of knowing you're at your, like, if you wait till you're at your threshold and you say, okay, now I'm going to stop, you're already past your threshold. So as you guys are beginning to be more active, be aware of like, what do I feel like way before I'm at my threshold, so I can start to pace myself. And I know that by the time I get home, I will have reached my threshold. You know what I mean? So if you're doing long walks, just kind of start to try, you're going to go past your threshold a few times learning. You're going to need recovery days as a result, but you will learn like what that point is for you, and then it'll be fixed. So again, that's kind of how, if those of you who have had calls with me, I kind of view food the same way. All right, I got to keep it moving. Yeah, okay, good. We're all caught up here now. Planks are great. If any of you guys have texted me at a moment when you are really, 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 really heat up and stressed and anxious, and I have told you to do a plank, or if you're at that adrenaline part where you're about to scream at somebody but not be able to tell them why you're mad, do a plank. Do a plank until you're at the point where your whole body is shaking. The fact that planks make you focus on your form, they make you focus on your breathing, they use every muscle in your body, and they cause every muscle in your body basically to contract and then release. It helps speed along, making, not letting cortisol linger. It's kind of like it forces it out of your system in a way. So I love planks for that. Now, my favorite, last one, do shit around the house. Do shit around the house. That is, Abby, I can give you a modification on that. Just text me to remind me. But do shit around the house is my favorite. And I don't just mean like dreadful stuff. Remember, it has to be fun. It has to be interesting. Now, if you're like, well, I feel guilty doing some fun project at home when I have to organize my bedroom, or I have to clean out my closet, or my house is a mess, those are two separate things. One is self-care in the form of exercise. The other are chores. It is okay to indulge in self-care and exercise before you do your chores. And if that feels really wrong, why? Who cares? No one's grading you. So if it's going to help you feel better, do better, have more energy, overall get to a point where you feel more productive each day, the chances that you're going to get your chores done more is going to go up, right? You don't have to wait till you're chore free, even if you feel like shit, to begin to not feel like shit as much anymore, right? So don't let that whole like discipline lazy thing in we all have it, telling us that that's not right, I shouldn't do that. No, screw that. Find something to do at home that's going to be a little bit more rigorous, but it's exciting. You want to repaint a wall? If ever anyone's gutsy, painting a ceiling with stripes, oh my God, I don't actually recommend that if you have neck issues, because that was brutal. But I will say, a workout nonetheless, and you can take your time. But if you want, do you want to get like, there's temporary wallpaper, you want to put it up in a room, you want to reorganize your pantry. I had a client did a couples call with me the other day. And the whole thing was about helping them organize their pantry. And it was great. I loved it. Right. But along with that comes the physical movement, picking stuff up. Right. And they could stop. They don't have to overhaul that shit in one night. That was what the whole call was centered around, that they could pace themselves. Right. That's physical activity paced out, though. That still counts. It still counts. Do you have a garden bed that was shit that you've been putting off digging out up front? Even if you take one little thing of dirt out of it, and a day, it still counts. I love that my back is cramping as I'm saying this. So, whatever it is, you want to paint a piece of furniture that's, old and cruddy and collecting dust. I don't know, man. Well, I could brainstorm with you about that endlessly, honestly. Catch me when I'm medicated and we'll get you a whole new house. So, but okay, let's see. I once was trying to do mountain climbers and I felt my knee slipped out of my knee socket. Don't do that. Mountain climbers. Again, and I see, Abby, what you're saying about planks. Like I was saying, whatever your body will allow, right? If you don't thoroughly enjoy mountain climbers, or anything like that, don't do it. Don't do it, because anything that's like you need to push your body, who created that? Who started that? People who live in countries with super long lifespans, are they like do work every day? Like, again, Greece is a very simple, it's not a very rich country by any means. It's a very simple country. And what I love the most about Greece is how invested in relaxation they are. How invested in leisure they are. The health in that country is amazing. And a lot of it, like they put such a priority on taking it easy. Now, it's not really realistic here, Greece is the size of Florida. So, and it's on the Mediterranean, so that helps. But, my point is, think of the 100-year-old guy in Greece. Has he been working on an outside of his house for like decades? Yeah. Has he been, making sure that he probably walks to go get all his food every single day or whatever? Like, yeah. So if that's enough, like he's not there doing these, uphill sprints and like, trying to snap a 350-pound weight clear off the floor above his head. He ain't Zeus, like it doesn't have to be like that. If you enjoy it, work towards it in a safe way. But don't think that if you don't immediately go that way, that it's like, oh God, I suck. I should be a fit pro, That's not life. So I have a trail that goes through the middle of my city and I live right by it. I'm not a morning person at all. And I have trouble with getting started with tasks when the day is the same. So my boyfriend, I developed a routine. He wakes up, brings me my baby step smoothie. What a gem. Bathroom, teeth and face, and then go on a walk with my dog, sipping my smoothie. I love that. I'll watch videos for lectures or read a book on Audible and walk for an hour. That's amazing. And I come back and start studying. I love that. All right, let's move on. So there are a ton of food hacks on the page, right? But I kind of want to give you the opportunity to pick my brain in some other food areas here, because again, this content lives. So how I food shop, I want you guys to ask me questions about this, or tell me your hang up, your hold up, what your struggle is, anything that I'm going to read off here. Okay. If you wanted to pick my brain about how I food shop, does anything come up for you guys? Any obstacles, any questions? How I invent fun stuff, flavors, dishes, desserts, duplicates, whatever. Substitutes, I mean, duplicates. Pick. How I deal with cravings or snacking or munchies. Let's see. Any questions at all? Favorite things to buy for increased protein. Ooh, good one. Okay. Roasted edamame is great. Roasted edamame is crunchy, salty, very noshable, very poppable. And I like to pour a cup into a sandwich bag and just leave it out on the counter. And my goal is, now granted, I work from home and I pace a lot through my main room when I'm talking to you guys. So my goal is like just to grab some. I do this with like nuts and stuff like that too, and just kind of eat throughout the day. There's 22 grams of protein in a cup of roasted edamame. So it's just a fun, crunchy, extra way to get that in. Protein water is great. Some people might be off put because it's almost like it leaves like a dry feeling after, kind of like a tart. It's like a tart sensation, kind of. it might be one of those, if you love it, it's either you love it or hate it kind of things. I don't mind it, especially if it's cold. Protein water is great. I can't stand the consistency of protein shakes. Honestly, they give me bubble guts every time. I cannot do them no matter what. I've tried every protein out there. It's too expensive to keep trying. Even the nectar that I love and recommended, 3-4 shakes in, stomach. Keto chow, 3-4 shakes in. It's just, keto chow took a little longer, like 2 months, but it's just my stomach. Protein water though, I'm fine with. So make me stop scratching. Okay. I'm struggling with traditional Jewish pastries and stuff. I can't find a replacement, so I end up getting them and then I feel bad. Okay, whenever, I want to put this into an analogy that makes sense. Imagine a sports player is trying to achieve something and has a coach that has achieved that and has done it time and time again, record holder, and tries to do it themselves. And when they can't do it, they're like, I'm not going to play. I pick my brain, text me specifics though. Text me specific dishes, because there's a lot that I learned that I can't teach you guys about that, because I learned it in culinary school, but you have someone who has that science mind with the cooking itself. So for me, I'm always thinking of texture, taste, similarity, ease. I try to adapt things. So if for any client who texts me and says, hey, I'm really craving this, I'll say, okay, what's the texture you like? What's the type of flavoring you like? Like, how describe your ideal blah, blah, blah. And then they'll tell me, and then knowing kind of like how things react together, I can recommend the best kind of thing. But here's the other part of that. The other part of that is the Mind Your Bite video. I cannot recommend it enough. I have had to listen to my own video, which is very creepy, for that specific thing. So Mind Your Bite is my favorite message I've ever done. And that is, how many times have we had some sad gas station sandwich and not thought about how awful it was? We just ate it because there's nothing else available and we need to get going. But we put so much pressure on foods, and understandably, we're calling it a replacement. And you're trying to replace something that has a sentimental value, as well as it's a beloved food that we look forward to. And then you're going to have, even if something's kind of good in its own right, if it's subpar, it feels like a letdown. And the bitterness of like, but I want that one when the other one was so much work and not as good. It makes it feel like you have to be disappointed forever. But that is just the wrong framing. The different way to frame that is, I'm not going to stop till I find something so good that I don't want to screw over my hormones with the other thing. And that doesn't mean that you're never going to eat it again. It might be you have it once a year and you're going to feel like shit for a week. But hey, that is your once a year thing. We're going to have these issues for the rest of our lives. That's okay. But you should have let's do away with replacements. I'm going to change all the verbiage. Options. We should all have options. Options in how they taste, options in the effects they have on us, options that we can choose. So text me. I love MacGyvering, like specific kind of desserts and stuff like that, because I went to culinary school for pastry specifically. So I love it. Text me. Sometimes I find it hard to find accurate information in the moment when I'm grocery shopping for alternatives. What kind of information is hard to find typically? Oh my God, like arugula. My in-laws brought that this weekend. They're Italian. They love arugula, because who doesn't? It's so good. I don't know how to pronounce that. Babka. I didn't get to try babka before I realized that with colitis, I can't have gluten. And I've always wanted it. So good. Substitutes for wine. No. they make like non-alcoholic wine, but I don't know how much sugar that probably has. I would limit how much wine you're having. And I mean, I have a whole spiel on this. I definitely want to do when I can think straight. I think I am reaching the threshold at the end of this hour. I'm not ripping my skin off, but I have a whole list of hacks for drinks and alcohol and all that. Text me for sure about that. My favorite is just to cut it in half with a glass of seltzer. So it's like a spritzer and it stretches out the glass that you're having. So you feel like you're involved, but it's not, a glass of wine each glass that you're having. Protein balls, I like to make them, but they seem intimidating. I would look up a couple recipes. This is my favorite way when I write how I invent. You go online and find a bunch of recipes for protein balls as inspo, and then tweak the specific things to be what you have or what you like, or if you have allergies, like what's more suited to you. Just try. I find a lot of recipes in the past that I've used as templates, so definitely kind of pick at other recipes, but they're very easy. I don't like keto, but I like fat bombs because I'm someone with an appetite problem during the day. So for me, a fat bomb is a quick, easy way to just get the calories, get the extra oomph that I need without the time and like the actual eating, because it's like a freaking chore sometimes. So Emily, your question's perfect. How do you force yourself to eat snack when you aren't craving anything, even after grocery shopping? I don't always crave the sweetness of protein shakes, and I just want something bland with enough calories to sustain me until I have an appetite again. Brazil nuts, cucumbers with salt, tomatoes with salt, scrambled eggs, just one scrambled egg or one boiled egg, just like something that boiled egg I like, I just hate making them and I hate peeling them. I do a scrambled egg because you could salt the shit out of it and it's small and you just eat it. And that usually is what opens up your appetite, because that absolute distaste to eating is because of ghrelin. And nobody understands how hard it is to eat when you don't have an appetite. Nothing smells good, nothing tastes good, nothing sounds good. It's an absolute dry mouth chore. That's chemical. So it's frustrating. I'm glad you asked. Also pepperoni. Pepperoni is a good one. It's calorie dense. So let's talk about grazing. Okay. Your body doesn't need meals. You should have like a balanced type of spiel throughout the day, right? Like I always tell you, if you're going to have a carb, have protein with it. But that could be dipping a Brazil nut into hummus. It doesn't have to be a whole meal. You don't have to have a side, this or that, unless you like that. I love having a lot of sides. I just like to pick. I'm also used to, I'll chalk this up to the 2 years of my life that I lived in Greece when I was a baby that I don't really remember. But I mean, like the Greek way is that on the table, you put a ton of little like pickings, and then you have stuff fresh off the grill or whatever that you have, or if it's wintertime, you have like an oven dish of some kind. But, like it's more about the pickings, and they don't have to be intricate or elaborate at all. Emily, I have the same issue. I feel like it's hard to snack/eat when you don't crave anything. That's why you got to think of it as a dose of medicine. I call it collecting tokens. There's a great Zoom on the page that I did for our international clients called Collecting Tokens. So I don't think a lot of you guys in CCA have probably seen that one yet. So if you struggle with appetite issues, collecting tokens, it's a good one. Okay, like fruits, GI index, some fruits it shows is low when it's actually kind of high. Like which one? Strawberry, all berries are low GI. There's, what's the other one? I mean, cantaloupe and melons and stuff, they're not as high as like oranges or grapes, stuff like that, but they're going to be on the lower spectrum, I'm actually not sure. I'm allergic to pineapples. I don't think I ever even looked that up. Bananas are high glycemic. Apples, pear are high glycemic. I mean, again, apples not the worst you're gonna do, in terms of the glycemic index, but pears, bananas are up there. Citrus fruits are pretty high up there usually because they're very just easily absorbed. Diabetics drink orange juice for a reason, it's like right to the blood. I'm trying to think what other fruits are clever. I think kiwi are low glycemic. Let me see. And my beloved figs. I'm just curious now. So let's see, figs. This is also a hack. I look so much shit up still. I know the principle. I know the concept. I don't know the specifics, so I'm not going to guess and get it wrong or be mad at my brain for not holding on to it. Just look it up. I look up glycemic index all the time. I don't remember. I look up the same shit all the time because I'm not going to bother to try and force my brain to hold on to it. That's like extra stress. I'm just going to look it up when I need it, So yeah, figs are actually low glycemic, which is like, thank God. Whew. What else? Someone said pineapple. It's 59, so it's not bad. It's like close to figs on the glycemic index, but because it has a very high water content. So, but it's a lot. It is mostly sugar. So with that being said, you need a lot of it to like really impact you badly, but it doesn't take a lot to impact you at all. So for me, I'm like, I would rather have an entire cup of strawberries than to have like one small piece of pineapple. But if that's all that's available, you'll be fine if you just pair some protein with it. Like, I oddly like cottage cheese. It's funny, when I was dieting, I hated cottage cheese. And that's like, what do you order at a restaurant besides fruit and cottage cheese? And now it's like, I actually like cottage cheese, it's really good. So, all right, let me see if there's anything else on here. I absolutely have to tell you guys. Okay. Next week, I'm going to make this a whole separate Zoom. So next week, I want to do brain hacks, like ADHD hacks, sleep hacks, communication hacks, stuff like that. So that's going to be next week's Zoom. If this has left you questioning anything, wanting anything further, that if you get off the Zoom and then you have a million questions that come to mind, don't be like, damn it, I missed the Zoom. Text me, message me. You also have your group chats. Don't sleep on those group chats. They tend to be quiet, but some of you guys have been in there for years, so you can have real good, juicy conversation going. And I know everybody's pretty helpful. So, feel free to utilize those group chats. Yeah. And if you need anything, coaches and me and coaches are here for you. Have a great rest of your night. So bye.